Hi everybody, it's me, Mike Celestino from LaughingPlace.com, and it's time for the third and final of these Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy building set unboxings and reviews. But before I get into this one, I did want to mention that a commenter in the previous video pointed out and reminded me that this design of the TIE wing has actually appeared in the Legends continuity of Star Wars novels, specifically the X-Wing Rogue Squadron and its sequels. This series of books, I believe, features ships called Uglies, which is an appropriate name for cobbled together X-Wing and TIE Fighter parts to form new designs. So it's cool that Lego did eventually create a way to build these Uglies officially, although this is now called a TIE wing. And then this one I wanted to point out called the X Fighter. I didn't mention in the previous video that the landing gear still functions when you've put the X-Wing wings, the S foils, onto the TIE Fighter fuselage. You can stand it up like that. Get rid of that box and just show you how it stands on its two landing gear there. I hadn't mentioned that in the previous video, so I wanted to get that out of the way and acknowledge that I had forgotten about the Ugly ships, because I haven't read some of those novels in almost 30 years. But putting that aside, let's get into the third and final of these Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy sets. This one is called the Dark Falcon. It is, of course, the largest of the three, and probably the one I'm most excited to check out. It is for ages 10 and up this time. It's set number 75389, the Dark Falcon. It's got 1,579 pieces. Let's take a look at the minifigures here. This is what I'm most excited about. You've got this alternate universe version of Luke Skywalker that they call Beach Luke. I want to call him Bro Luke because that's what they call the overweight version of Thor in Avengers Endgame. And this kind of reminds me of that. He's like Bro Luke. He's a pod racer. He cheats, but he does end up helping our heroes save the day. Then you've got Jedi Vader, the alternate universe version of Vader, where he's a Jedi instead of a Sith, and he's all white. Now, this I know is a reference to Legends, well, not the Legends timeline, but almost kind of a what-if scenario in the Star Wars Tales comic book, I believe. Bounty Hunter C-3PO, he's he's C-3PO if he was a mercenary for hire. He's got the red eyes, he's got the one black arm. Excited to have that. Darth Dev is our final newly created character for Rebuild the Galaxy, and he is Sig's brother, who in the alternate version of the universe is a Sith Lord. And then you've got the highly sought after Darth Jar Jar. How can you go wrong with that minifigure? I think that's the one everybody's going to want out of here. Plus Darth Rey, who looks an awful lot like the evil Rey, the dark side Rey that we saw in a vision in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Great collection of minifigures in here. Again, these are going to be highly sought after because it's a big set. It's an expensive set. Let's take a look at the back. So the rear side of this box shows us the rear side, the aft side of the Dark Falcon. And up here you've got just showing off some of the features here. Darth Jar Jar has this little throne. Let's see, you can keep Luke in some kind of a force field. The flaps open up, the cockpit canopy comes off there, and you can use all that as play space. There's a evil version of the kind of holochess board and the gunner stations on the Falcon. Of course, you can fit a couple minifigures into the cockpit, and you've got The other minifigures are having a little battle here underneath the Falcon in this image on the backside of the box. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what's inside. Instead of the perforated openings on the larger boxes, they've just got tape kind of holding the whole thing together. So we'll unpeel that, and then I'm going to dump the contents out. Yeah, this is a big set, guys. Put the tape back down. I'll leave this here on the edge. Here we have the all-important instruction manual for the Dark Falcon. And then there should be a sticker sheet. There you go. That's what that looks like. Oh, I like the kind of dark side version of the hollow chess characters. That's going to be fun. Okay, put this aside. And then let's see how many steps there are in here. Okay, so we have a grand total of 17 steps that we're going to have to go through to build this. That's quite a bit. We're going to get through it. It's going to be fun. I'm going to do it in fast motion here. And just get this organized. Here's step number 1. Get my instruction manual open here to step number 1. And stickers. Dump this out. Okay, we're going to go into fast motion here. I will see you when this thing is complete, and then we'll take a look at all the details, and I'll give you my thoughts on the Dark Falcon. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and there we have the finished, built Dark Falcon from Lego Star Wars. Rebuild the Galaxy. Very nice set, very fun build. Not terribly repetitive. I was worried it was going to be a little too repetitive because I've built a couple Lego Millennium Falcons before, and sometimes it can get a little repetitive, but the only part that felt that way was these panels around the front and back of the ship. Otherwise, it was a pretty fun build. Here are the 6 minifigures. Let's go through each of those individually. And we'll start here with Bounty Hunter C-3PO. Got the red glowing eyes. He's got the black arm with printing on the side. His regular arm on the right also has printing. Printing on the back of his torso, printing on his legs and feet. A fun alternate version of C-3PO to have. I don't know if they ever did 3PO with red eyes when Rise of Skywalker came out, but would have also been appropriate for that one scene. You know the one I'm talking about in that movie. Let's get a little more light on him there. All right, let's move on to Dark Rey. Speaking of the Rise of Skywalker, this is pretty much a representation of the version of Rey we saw when she was aboard the wreckage of the second Death Star and saw a vision of herself gone to the dark side. Here's the alternate face for Dark Rey. Just kind of a no expressionless face, and then the gritting teeth, angry face on the other side. We'll put her hood back on. She's got printing on her torso there and printing on the back of her torso. Nothing on the legs. She does have the double-bladed lightsaber that we saw in The Rise of Skywalker. However, it doesn't open up in the way that you saw her do in the movie, and the way that I know the action figure, I believe, can do that. So that's a little disappointing. It's just using the binoculars piece to make the double-bladed saber, but it doesn't open up in the way that, or, you know, this one doesn't close up, but I'll just show you how a double-bladed lightsaber would look in Lego form with Darth Jar Jar here. But you could take one of the, you know, there are extra, there's the pile of extra pieces right there. There's a couple extra lightsaber hilts that you could just use to make Rey's lightsaber double-bladed in that way. So here's Darth Jar Jar. Probably going to be one of the most sought-after minifigures from this set and from Rebuild the Galaxy as a whole. Really like the printing on his torso. He's stolen or he's got, I believe this is supposed to be a coaxium vial or canister. I'm pretty sure this is the same Jar Jar head that has been used in recent versions of this character in Lego form. There's the backside of his torso. Printing. Really fun. This character is particularly fun and funny in Rebuild the Galaxy. If you watch that, he's got a lot of great repurposed lines that we know Jar Jar says in The Phantom Menace that he gets to say in a different context here. Let's take a look at, we'll go to Dev Griebling, another Sith character. He's not a Sith in the beginning of the show, but then when Sig rebuilds the galaxy, literally, he travels to kind of an alternate version of the Star Wars timeline. There's the back side of Dev. He's got the cape going. He's got the hair. He's got an alternate face that is smiling. I won't say why. You can watch the show to figure that out for yourself. There's the front side. Put his hair back on. And he's got a red bladed lightsaber. Cool to have that character. And then let's go to Jedi Vader, another figure that is sure to be highly sought after. Very cool to have that. Like I said, this character had existed in kind of another alternate what-if timeline in the Star Wars comics. A all-white version of Darth Vader. Here, let's take a look with his helmet off. Got a smiling, elderly Anakin Skywalker there underneath. And he does have a blue-bladed lightsaber now, because he is a Jedi instead of a Sith in the rebuilt Galaxy in the LEGO Special. And then lastly, speaking of alternate versions of Skywalker characters, here is Beach Luke, or like I want to call him Bro Luke. He's got the Japor snippet necklace there. Fun detail that Anakin made for Padme in the prequels in Phantom Menace. Cargo pants and flip-flops or sandals. Yellowish sunglasses. They almost kind of look like they came out of a Rebel pilot's helmet. Backside, he's a little more worried. And he's got some fun printing on his shirt. A lot of little details you got to get in and look at those with a magnifying glass or a microscope. And he does come with a container of blue milk. Does a body good. Nice beachy long hairdo for Beach Luke here. Again, another very fun character in the show. Voiced by Mark Hamill. He came back to play Luke again. And then another great minifigure to have. And those are the 6 that came with this set. So let's take a look at the Millennium Falcon itself. There's a lot to see here. I was told, or I heard, that this version of the Falcon is closest in build to the one that was released for The Rise of Skywalker, which was, I guess, 5 years ago now. I have a couple different ones. I have the Ultimate Collector Series Falcon, and I have one that was prior to that that was made to represent the one from the original trilogy. It's not the first ever Millennium Falcon made from LEGO, but it's one in between. And yeah, it's a really fun build, like I said earlier. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod here and show off some of the features. Okay, so first things first, what you see is the laser cannon on top, and this does rotate. It can swivel up and down, pivot left and right. There's a sticker on this piece right here. And under here is the gunner station. You've seen this in previous Millennium Falcon toys and LEGO sets. And this comes out, and this is intended to be the top side and bottom side of the gunner station in the Millennium Falcon. So you could put a minifigure here and there, and they could be both the top and bottom gunner on this dark version of the ship. Okay, there's also a cockpit, of course, and you can remove, let's see, there you go, remove the canopy, and it does only sit 2 characters, 2 minifigures in there, unlike the UCS Ultimate Collector Series version, which you can fit the appropriate amount, the 4, or 4 or 5 characters. I guess maybe you could stand another one up. Let's see if C-3PO will stand up here. Nope, I don't think you're going to be able to close the cockpit with that. So it's really just 2 minifigures that will sit there in this scale of the Dark Falcon. But nice to have the red-colored cockpit canopy, transparent red. That's pretty fun. Let's see. Also on the exterior, we've got 2 forward laser cannons. You can see the laser bolts right here, and there's another one right over here. And the way you fire those is by pressing down inside one of these access panels. Let me just do that for you. And that'll fire out. Hopefully you don't lose it. And the other one does the same thing. Let's see, there's also the Rectenna, I think this is called, and it's a twisted dark side version of that, intended to have the same laser capabilities as the Death Star. So when you see it in the cartoon, look here, here's a illustrated representation of what that does on the box. It fires, it all comes together into one point and fires a big laser beam like the Death Star's laser cannon wood, so it is a dark side version of the Millennium Falcon's rectangle, which is not a weapon in the movies. I don't believe it's intended to receive signals, not fire anything. Let's open up the Falcon and see what's inside here. This folds open here, and then these flaps are going to fold open. Middle one first. Let's get the minifigures out of the way. Okay. Fold those open, fold those open. Lots of stuff going on in here. We'll start with Darth Jar Jar's throne, which does come out, I believe, probably so you can have an easier time getting Darth Jar Jar into his throne. Let's do that. There we go. So there's Darth Jar Jar sitting in his throne, and then we'll just slide that back in where it goes. Now he's got some panels that he can look at, informational panels there. These are all stickers as well. Then you've got kind of the sleeping quarters. Now I know in the actual layout of the Millennium Falcon, this is the area where the hollow chest Dejarik table would be. But here they've got the sleeping quarters, and they've moved the Dejarik to the rear because it is a different form of Dejarik. It's actually video game Dejarik, which is really fun. There's actually, I think this is supposed to be like an empty box or cartridge. And in Arabesh, it says Dejarik in the Star Wars alphabet there. There's a little video game controller you can see there. I think this is supposed to be a console behind the TV, like a video game console, like a PS5, something similar. And then, yeah, you can see the Dejarik pieces on the monitor there. So whoever is sitting here, if you put, let's say, Beach Luke can sit here, even though he's not allied with the bad guys in this. But it doesn't matter. That's what Rebuild the Galaxy is all about. It doesn't matter who's on bad side, good side. Everybody can hang out together and play video Dejarik. Now, when I was looking at the box earlier, I thought this was going to be like the evil version of the hollow chess table, but it's actually the dark, kind of the dark hyperdrive, which is fun. An evil version of the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive system. Then you've got a canister, a crate with more fuel in it. So I think this is intended to be coaxium hyperfuel. Close that back up with a few more canisters around there. And then the other fun feature here in the back is a little prison cell with kind of force fields, red force fields around it. And you can remove the front panel and you put, I'm going to take Jedi Vader's lightsaber off and I'll put him in the prison cell. If I can get, ooh, maybe he has to sit down. Yeah. A little tough to do it with one hand and to get his cape out of the way. But then you take the front panel of the jail cell and put it back, and he's in kind of a little red force field, evil prison. And then just to get all the minifigures in there, I'm going to have Darth Dev Griebling, spoiler alert, Darth Dev is his Sith name. I'm going to lay him down on one of the beds here, taking a nap, and we'll just put Darth Ray there, standing in the hold of the Falcon. So those are all the features on the inside. Lots of places to put your figures, plenty of floor space in here. You could probably fit the rest of the characters that came with the other Rebuild the Galaxy sets. Let's fold this up now and take a look at the underside and the back of the Dark Falcon. That all gets folded up. Okay, we'll go back on the tripod for that. Okay, this is the top side of the Dark Falcon. I did want to show you the back side, which has... Oop, I'm knocking pieces off already. But the back side does have the nice red glow coming out of the engines instead of the blue glow that you would see from the usual Millennium Falcon in the regular Star Wars universe. And then we'll flip it over, and I'll try to be careful about dropping too much out of here. I see Darth Jar Jar already fell out of his throne. But there's an underside quad laser cannon there that does rotate and pivot. But otherwise, the bottom side, you've seen this on a lot of Millennium Falcon Lego sets. They don't really do a lot of detailing on the underside, which is fine. It would cost a lot more pieces and probably cost a lot more money to do that. So that's okay. It's just kind of a plain, you know, anti-stud surface, as they say, on the bottom side of the Falcon. But there are 4 landing gear pieces that, or landing gear assemblies that the Millennium Falcon, or the Dark Falcon, I should say, stands on. There we go. Let's gather Darth Jar Jar back up again. I did want to give you a look at that pile of extra pieces and mention that you do get an extra laser blast, this green laser blast, in case you misplace or fire one of those into a place where you can't find it. But yeah, that's pretty much the Dark Falcon from Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. A very nice set. It's going to be fairly pricey. I haven't looked up what it costs, but I want to thank our friends at Disney Products for providing us with a review copy of this set to check out and share with you. I had a lot of fun putting it together, and I'm really glad to have it, along with these very cool 6 minifigures to give you one last look at Darth Ray, Jedi Vader, Darth Jar Jar, Beach Luke, Dev Griebling, or Darth Dev, and Bounty Hunter C-3PO. Altogether, yeah, I had a blast building all these Rebuild the Galaxy sets, and I had a great time watching the miniseries, which is now available on Disney+. My name is Mike Celestino. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon at laughingplace.com. Bye!